entry stuff that two of our other
Welcome.
members didn't get to hear about. But
You know. You gotta have little prep things before you get going. And so, on that topic, though, let's review last week. Last week, we finalized which job to go with. You guys spoke with an individual whose name was Giles Finchley about a certain task. And it was a job that Yonovan had found that was posted for the Sage Aris about seeking people to escort a family heirloom to a dwarven town. And so, agreeing to such, you saw him have you sign contract of ladening, and he brought the package to you all, which was a fairly good-sized box, and it is now in your custody to take to the ship and head out, unless there's anything else you gentlemen would like to do.
Describe the box to us.
I can't remember exactly what I said last week, but it was a fairly good-sized wooden box.
Okay.
It
Are
obviously
we
has...
forbidden from opening it? What are the conditions laid out?
Well, the conditions say to deliver this artifact, heirloom, whatever you want to define it as. You did know it is a family-oriented item to the dwarves, back to their dwarven town. Upon looking at the box, you do see that it is sealed, and it does say to deliver to Tharkad right on the box as well.
Do not open till Christmas.
So, as to what's in the box or anything like that, it is unknown.
Yes, but the important distinction was, do we have guidelines about opening the box or not?
You hadn't been told, but you do see it sealed, so you probably would be smart enough to guess you're probably not supposed to open it.
Okay.
Or at the very least, it's obvious that if we open it, they will know that we have opened.
Correct.
Or at least somebody has opened.
Yes, but our contract doesn't say deliver a box. It says deliver a relic, so...
Technically it says an heirloom. A family heirloom. Safely to the dwarven
town.
We'll
just have to hope that it's in the box.
Hey.
That's what he said it was. Like, that's what you signed off for. It was that you were receiving this box that contains the heirloom.
So, out of character, let me explain myself, since you seem to be not getting my drift. We know, and we assume that we just got the box. But how do we know that between here and there, it stays in the box, or in this box? Or that we keep this box in our possession? I.e., no way to know other than you're just carrying a box.
That is partially true.
That's all.
There is... You could attempt to figure out what the seal on the box is, like who it is, because you don't know that. There is a couple markings on the box from a few individuals, like stamps, but you don't know the emblems. You're not an expert on the families and the names and the symbols of...
If that happens, we'll come up with... We'll deal with what happens.
Basically. You do have proof that you accepted the box, and it was sealed and ready when you picked it up from Giles. You signed the contract at that time, and so upon delivering it, he gave you a paper to have Tharkad sign as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, you do have at least some form of paper trail.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're perfectly absolved and safe? Maybe, maybe not. You don't know. But you do know that at least you have that sort of a, safety net.
Okay. Well, we can start.
We have. What would you gentlemen like to do? Anything else? Or you want to just take the box to the ship and head off?
I've done my shopping in port.
say let's
Okay.
go drop a box off.
I just want to make sure whether there was or wasn't anything else people wanted to do. So, if
Mm-hmm.
you're all ready to go, you can hift the box up and bring it to the boat, where Yanovan is
Okay.
waiting, setting up his new little forge, mobile forge, probably taking everything out of the cart, since he probably isn't concerned with the cart, just the stuff in it.
Correct.
So that is what Yanovan did yesterday, or last week, for the players. And you are able to do so. You are very glad to have Saradin's assistance getting this box back, because as you heft it, it is very hefty indeed. It is weighs a lot more than you'd think for its size. So you know there's obviously something in it. It's not air.
Uh-huh.
So you get it to the ship, and you make sail. Is there anything particular you guys want to do on the trip?
Cookie wants to continue studying star charts, astronavigation.
Okay. I forgot to get one thing open, so I'm trying to get that open. I apologize. Feel free to talk about what you guys want to do on the trip while I get this last piece pulled up.
Well, I do remember that if this is the one, there's several jumps. There's at least one, right?
There is 2 locations needed if you want to go the most safest and most common route, which would be you go to a waypoint, which is a outpost location
Uh-huh.
of the dwarves, and then you go to the actual planet that the town is on.
Okay.
And apparently
can-
my son wants to be heard tonight.
I can hear that he's verbalizing.
Cleon, for lack of anything better to do, would also be curious about the astral navigation, especially since we started last. I've got on my character sheet that I've got, I believe, like, I don't know if this means anything, but 1 notch in astral navigation.
Yes. Give me just a moment.
Okay.
Huh.
What's up?
There's no prevailing wind on board a ship, correct? Not our ships.
The phlogiston has a flow to it.
Yes, but the air on our ship stays pretty much stable, right?
I would
That's
assume
because
so.
we have a helm.
Right. So the rod of flying will allow you to fly, basically levitate up and down as you want to on board ship.
Yeah.
If there was a need to, climb up into the rigging and stuff, but I don't see us needing to do that.
The question is, does the helm have its own gravitational field?
Something does, I know. The underside of the ship is typically reverse gravity.
Or do you feel the effects of movement? If you go up, will you fall out of sync with the ship?
I don't know. It's a good question.
No,
I would anticipate that
it's
our
conserved. Right.
Hmm.
Your momentum would be. Part.
So
well, I don't know. what was described when you were eaten by that like giant space hulk with the death helm. When we finally destroyed it, because it shut down at some point.
When it shut down, we floated free of it.
Yeah, gravity stopped working inside that.
But if you're floating inside of a gravity field, your momentum in the direction the ship is traveling wouldn't get canceled out.
Okay.
Hmm.
What part of reality did he learn about today?
Take a guess.
Floors are hard. Tables are bumpy.
Gravity.
Nah. We can talk later. Let's focus
All right.
on this. I didn't hear everything you guys said because I couldn't.
Yeah.
But yes, let us get going.
We were talking about relative like gravity and motion on a ship.
Yeah, we're talking about
Curiosity.
using the rod of flying inside the helm.
Good.
In any case, we hope for a mostly uneventful journey.
Yes.
And we'll need to resupply. We plan to take a standard route, I think.
Which that's part of the
Resupply.
point of the layover point. That's the standard route. Is that it is a
Yeah.
decent trip, but it's still a safer trip, and you get to restock.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like Rio disappeared again. Cleoc practiced deception by attempting to find Rio occasionally. Tries to keep his eyes sharp.
So you get to this sphere, and there is a large planet there that has a whole bunch of asteroids and meteors flying around it. And you see there is 2 forges, dwarven forges, there. Of course, you can see that
Wow.
because of the big faces. So it's obviously a big port of theirs.
Well, we need to
Um,
dock and resupply.
Yep. So you guys move up and you are able to dock. Anything particular you want to do while you're here, or just get what you need and head on to where you need to go?
Cleoc doesn't have anything important he wants to do, but he's curious. He wants the people watch at the dock. Basically, the thought he has is that the crew he's currently on is very, or the ship he's currently on has a very, I don't want to call them strange crew, but needless to say, we've got a monster locked up on the ship, and we got a necromancer with a undead servant, right? Which we
Yeah.
are kind of weirded out about, but Cleoc is still pretty new to this, still. He's been up here for like a year and a half now, but still he's pretty new.
Right.
He wants to know how normal this is, if he can. He doesn't want to necessarily take a whole lot of, for lack of a better term, risk in letting other people know that he thinks there's weird stuff on his ship. He's just sort of curious if he sees other things, similar to what he sees on the ship he's currently on,
Okay.
but not.
Give me just one moment. I need to grab something for her.
cat.
How is your cat doing, John? Since last I heard, you weren't particularly happy with him with what he had done.
He's doing okay. The other cat is just regularly sneezing.
That's fair. But the sneezing cat wasn't the one causing you the problem the other day. Right?
That is correct, yes.
All right, Cleoc.
Yes.
So you just want to people watch and see what is common exactly. I want to make sure I know what you're going for.
Something
Just
like that, yeah.
if they have weird things, or what exactly are you looking for info?
It's not necessarily super specific, but it's like creatures that he hasn't necessarily seen before acting in what he would consider odd manners. Like if they were maybe what he would consider a demon working on a ship, or um well, I mean, the two examples he has is that there's a necromancer running around with undead servants on his ship, and we've got some sort of demon. I'd have to relook at the video to see exactly what it is, but we have something else just locked up in our ship, and we just feed it.
Yeah. Well, you go there.
He's looking for um ships with what appears to be crew members doing that are either like really strange to him, like I don't know if I consider humanoid, or performing actions that are irregular
Okay.
for what he would notice on a ship.
Well, so you get there. You see there is gnomes, and that's not exactly necessarily odd, but you see dwarves, of course, which you would expect. You see some little black-haired humanoid creatures. You see some creatures that look like they're made of stone or metal. There's definitely some odd assortments of creatures, some that you don't know of at all.
Hmm. Because Cleoc has seen more and more creatures that, he would have never, ever expected to see on Faerun.
Right. Like your companion.
Yes, the giant hippo.
Um,
I don't even know if he would know what a hippo even is.
Probably not.
But for the most part, I'd like to think the Cleoc knows it's like, okay, this is a different race of people, but they're still doing, for the most part, normal ship maintenance stuff.
Yeah. You
Okay.
actually see a creature. Well, some of them are. Some of them are in cages. Like, you see one in a cage that's guarded that has 3 legs, 3 arms, a mouth on top of its head, and eyes in between each arm. It's heavily muscular and scaly. Obviously not a friend of theirs. They're keeping tabs on him.
Had 3 legs, 3 arms, a mouth on the very top of its head, and eyes in between each arm, or
In between the arms.
in between the arm.
Very, normal to what Cleoc's seen. And yes, that was sarcasm.
Right.
You also...
I don't do any further investigation. I don't go up and ask, like, what is that thing, or what are you doing with it?
Okay.
I'm just more...
Yeah, you've seen also, like, some giant, like, centipede creatures and some worms and creatures like that, but some of those more bestial ones you see are in captivity. They're obviously either seen as pests, hostiles, or creatures like you'd seen like in a zoo. You're not
transporting creatures or prisoners or for some reason, but
yeah, you'd have to ask to find out. You're not sure if it's which one it is.
and just to make sure, there's no squid heads.
No, not a one.
Good.
However,
I do not ask about squid heads. I'm just saying.
On your way back to your ship, you do see one, but it's just the head.
Ah. Is it put on the mantle of like some inn?
Well, there's a tavern. It's kind of an outside tavern, and it's called Flayed Flayers, and he has a mind flayer head above his, what do you call it? Counter.
I don't go ask, but now I wonder how many times he's been attempted to. Well, actually, what he knows is that mind flayers in cities in general aren't generally welcome or seen. So,
Depending on the city, yeah.
that's
They
fair.
certainly don't seem to be welcome here.
Yeah.
I mean, you hadn't heard of a flayed flayer being anywhere else as a name.
That's fair.
So, anything else? Does any of the gentlemen want to do?
I mean, I'd like to set up my stuff in wherever I could, really.
Yeah, you've kind of finished setting it up on the ship.
Okay. And I'm going to get everything out of my bag of holding to work on the...
Okay. So you're going to do that on the trip?
Well, yeah, I'd like to be able to work on it in the trip, so...
Okay.
Before we get going out of port, I make sure to take stuff out of the bag of holding I'll need.
Why would you do that?
Oh, I don't know, because I've been stuck without before.
Yeah. That was one of those things we kind of hand waved that, the first time you guys went there and you tried, you'd be like, ah, crap, I can't access it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can do a roll for that, see how well you do.
Certainly. Da-da-da-da-da. Not so well.
So, those of you who are working in astral navigation can get a pip on that as well.
Thank you.
Anything else you guys want to do in port? Cookie Yonovan, or you guys want to head off already?
Just a basic restock for me.
Okay. Just verifying. I didn't want to head off and then you guys be like, I wanted to. Alright. Well, then you guys load up your goods and head out. So, another few weeks pass, and you finally get to your destination sphere. You see a interesting system.
I saw that nat 20.
But do you know what it means?
No, I don't.
So you see a system with a orange star. There is 3 planets that are circling it that seem to have atmospheres.
That's fun.
So there's one that has a moon, but it has a number of actual barren moons. It looks like just dusty rocks basically circling it. The others are just by themselves. And so there's 2 around the one planet, and that is the planet that your captain seems to be heading for. So there is 4... there's 3 planets that seem to have atmosphere, 2 chunks of rock with no atmosphere around the one that you're headed to. And it looks like there is quite a few dwarven citadels in this system, in other ships. They're hard to see as you come in, but because there's still a large distance, but you do see other moving vessels, which means they're quite massive.
Oh, Yonovan, it looks like we found a rather big dwarven hub, huh?
Would appear so. Never seen one this large before.
Well, this is the second one you've seen, so largest one I've seen too.
I mean, this is the 3rd one I've seen. But
I
yeah.
guess we count the outpost, yeah.
Where I grew up was
Anyway.
much more remote than this.
So you guys are heading for the planet. You see a very well ornate, crafted citadel passes you guys by. And I mean, it's impressive. And you get hailed. Wait, who goes there? What are you doing in our system?
Well, Cookie will respond, so, guys, you're gonna have to help my brain. This is our destination system?
Yes.
Okay. We have come to transport a heirloom for the town of Naruktharboob.
We're here to deliver. We're delivering the heirloom.
Yes. And you're seeking direction.
Yeah. I might go on and say we're here to conduct business. We have business in the citadel. We have a we have goods that were requested to be delivered at this location. Maybe not goods, but
Yeah, let's wait till he gets back.
Would we want to word it? We don't want to. Also, don't want to get attention for being less than forthcoming.
Oh yes. Well,
we may also want to confirm that this is the town of Haricot or something.
That's
Correct.
where we're from. We're looking for this town, and we're delivering a family heirloom. No big deal.
Okay. Just hopefully they're the town guard and not bandits.
That's a citadel.
That's
We don't
fair.
have a choice either way.
Fair enough.
Do you know that? You remember that scene from Firefly where like the big old fortress shows up?
Yeah.
Yes, we're there.
Wonderful. And how they just act on their best behavior. No, we wouldn't possibly be smugglers. Don't know why'd you get that impression. We're great fans. We just love the current government. Couldn't be happier.
So when Nate gets back, I guess we say we have a contract for to deliver an item to the town or citadel of no, I need to go up again.
It's hard to pronounce. It's
Haricot.
Naruk Tharba. Arcot is our contact.
The Haircut is the town.
Yes.
Was it Olfin who was the contact, right? Or was that the halflings?
Olfin was Sage was Arisis, and I don't know Olfin. That might be the halfling.
All right, I heard what you're saying. Did you want to go with all of what you said or a subset?
Well, it's probably a few things. I'm straightforward in saying that yes, we are delivering a dwarven family heirloom to the city of Darexthub, and we would request guidance on how to get there.
Are you sure you have that city right?
Naruk Tharbech.
I might be looking at the wrong quest. Yes, I am looking at the quest. My bad. Dark. Yes. He delivered a dark.
Okay. So, you gentlemen are able to say that, and they respond. All right. He said he was looking for something. He should be there. If you go to the planet there with the 2 moons circling, that would be the one.
Oh, thank you.
We'll be watching you.
Indeed.
To which you see there are a number of large metal tubes with lenses in them that seem to be looking about the system as you fly off. One looks at you.
That's nifty. Wonder how far they can see with those. Man, we could have
Since you
spotted it.
think you could
hey,
walk down the tube, you're not sure, but it's big.
We could have spotted that space monster from a distance with these.
It's like one of those giant telescopes back home. It's like a giant telescope, kind of. I heard stories of, smaller ones from back home that.
Well, like a spyglass on a ship, but much, much bigger.
Yeah. So, you make it to the planet, and you land. Eventually, after a few days. Traveling in space takes very fast, but it does take time. You're able to land on the outskirts of Nerugthrub, and you are able to be directed to a landing spot where you would land and are able to disembark. What do you choose to do, gentlemen?
Oh,
Well, I would leave Saradin and Rio on the ship to watch the item while we figure out where we need to deliver it, or whether they would like board our ship to the goods.
Yeah, we need to find Arkad. What do we know about the personage of Arkad? Just the name of his contact? I mean, well, come to think of it, Mr. Citadel over there knew about him, so must be a prominent individual.
You would think that is a possibility.
Well, let's go and disembark and go looking for Arkad.
Yanovan?
Is Arkad or Darkad?
R with an A.
Tharkad.
Oh, really? Okay.
You can look. I posted it again.
Yes.
I wrote it down wrong.
Are
Sorry.
you joining the group heading out into this
Yes,
dwarven
I'm going
city?
to explore Arcod. I'm going to go find Arcod with them.
Very well. You do feel very much at home. It is on the surface, but a lot of the architecture that you're used to seeing underground has been reconstructed in a lot of ways up on the surface. And so the town definitely makes you feel at home. You do see a number of large passages leading down below the surface as well. So you have a feeling that the town is both above and below the surface. But Yanaman, with the architecture here, you feel a great swell of pride that, hey, I know this style of architecture. These are my people.
Still bit claustrophobic for me. I mean,
Not
let's.
above ground. Above ground it's fairly open still, because you can see up to the sky. It's just the buildings aren't necessarily built far apart from each other. And they're all stone, and there's lots of them.
Anyway, I would suggest we start our search for at the oh, what's the right term for it? The well, I can see two places. One spot, where like the oh, how to describe it? I forget how to describe it. The like port guildmaster, the port headquarters, the port building. I can't. I don't know what to call the building.
You mean like port office type thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So you
It,
want
it
to
seems
look.
like a good place as any to start inquiries about, a looking for a specific person or a place where we'd be able to find that right.
Yeah, there's a prominent building as you head down off the location. You notice that there's plenty of trees and stuff growing since you're above ground. However, the spots that your ships are allowed to dock, you see are large stones that are marked, and there's paths that lead down into the city. As you see where the road from the landing pads leads, you see there is a large, prominent office where people seem to be being checked in and out through it's a gate with a building around it.
That's fair.
So you have a feeling that's probably a main point that things go through.
I suggest we try there.
Looks good. How big is this place compared to the last port we were in?
Oh, this one's huge. I mean, just the city itself, when you're coming in, you saw just massive structures. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen like SimCity played. It kind of looks
It's
like
one of
that zoomed out, where you see just rows and rows of buildings.
it's one of the first actual planets we landed on in a long time.
Mm-hmm. And it's quite industrious, as you see. So, in you go. You see there is a dwarven gentleman, seems fairly young, standing there, and currently
Still
he's the
30
only
years
one
older
that's
than
not
I am.
busy.
He's still 30 years older than I am.
Well, you know, some people have to be.
Hmm.
So, you want to
Excuse
talk
me,
to him?
sir.
Yes.
Yes, we have a warship that just made port. and we have a delivery for a specific person. We'd like to know if had a means of either locating him or could help point us in the correct direction.
Potentially, what is this gentleman's name?
His name is Starcat, or we call him Arcad. Don't know why we're calling him Arcad, but
I do not know anyone with the name Arcad.
Tharcat.
Tharcat.
My mistake.
There is a Tharcat here, though usually most only see him on scheduled times. He's not exactly the sort to see many people unannounced. If you head down the road here, you can make a call at his residence and see if you will be granted entry. You will see he describes a manor a ways into the city, and the description, Yonovan, makes you kind of like realize that the person probably has some power and authority, because it's a very highly impressive dwarven structure from everything you're hearing, with very fine craftsmanship and quite a bit of expense on it.
I see. Thank you very much for your assistance.
Indeed, indeed. When you are ready to bring your package through, be sure you do have it checked. You see there's these large devices that they seem to be moving over packages or using to check things before they're allowed to go through into the city.
Interesting.
So,
Thank you very much.
indeed. You guys head in?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nothing better to do.
Who wants to roll the check? It's not going to be high, but it's basically to see how quickly you're able to find your way through. Unless Yonovin's holding you guys back by staring at everything.
Would this be like perception, or would this be investigation, or
Do a survival.
I'm okay with that one too.
Just because that's why I came along doesn't mean anything.
That's a 13.
13's not bad. So it takes you a little bit of time. You guys have to keep checking with Yonovan what the signs say, since you guys don't speak Dwarven. Eventually you get there. Yonovan, you're able to pick the house out because you
Heard
know
the
Dwarven
description.
architecture. You get into a part of town that is more sparsely populated and a lot larger premises, and you are able to find the correct one. Clea got you to the area, and then you're able to point out the correct one.
Right. I didn't announce that it was that particular structure. I'm just staring and pointing. It's
So
even more than I could imagine.
Cookie and Cleox see Yonovan just like stop, like mouth slightly drop open, and he just points at this
Is there
very
something
impressive
wrong?
structure.
That's it. That's what he described.
Okay.
That's a big house.
You know, medieval times usually only had like, 4-story buildings at most as the big, huge buildings. Unless they were towers, in which case they're just straight stone structures that were, obviously built for fortifications. This house is a good, like, 10-story mansion of solid stone.
Do you have the document for the delivery with you? I know we don't have the actual package. We have the
Yes, we
document.
do.
Right?
Uh-huh.
What do you do?
I
There's
guess we
something
put.
out front on the gates.
I guess. Are gates closed?
They are.
Like, can we go up to the house and knock on the door or ring the bell.
You could try to open the gate to do that, but the gates are currently closed. There is a few dwarves you see circling inside the premises.
Well,
So, Donovan, I'm not an expert on dwarven customs such, but you think this is the right house?
Yep.
Would it be rude or is it proper for us to try and flag down one of the people circling inside?
History
Donovan.
check, please.
Yeah, go for it. You pick up on their patterns. You see they're definitely patrolling. They're basically the house guards. Any sizable dwarven hold would have people who are kept on guard as just a precautionary measure to ensure safety.
Do I see what is the obvious main entrance for deliveries?
The entrance you see is the large, highly ornate doors straight in from the gate you're currently standing at. There's basically a nice large fenced area around the premises that have a lot of impressive display of vegetation and other interesting dwarven oddities. To the others, to you, they're very impressive figures. And the door's basically a stray shot of a path from the gate.
From my 19 history, do I know if it's proper protocol just to go straight to the door or to hail the guards as we're going in?
If a gate is open, you could go to the main door. Typically, if it's shut, it's proper etiquette to not intrude without permission.
Right. Is the gate shut or not?
It is shut.
I will hail the guards in the tradition of my mountain. Hopefully, it's close enough.
Okay.
The ancient dwarven greeting dance where he pulls out a mug of ale and it says a great. Oh.
The dwarf comes over and replies to you in dwarven, a greeting that's a bit different than what you're used to, but the gist is the same.
Awesome. Yes, we are here to talk to Tharkad. We have an heirloom we're supposed to be delivering, and we come to seek his present.
Do you have this artifact with you, or do you have
it's back on our boat. We wanted to know if you want
to produce the contract of delivery.
I'll produce the contract of delivery. It was back on our vessel. We wanted to locate the residence we were to deliver to, where we wanted it, or if it was to be picked up from our vessel.
Very good. He looks it over. He's like, I will be back in a moment. Walks inside.
Aww.
I whisper to Yonovan and Kleok, hey, I wonder if we're better off doing this than letting the gate guards of the city scan it. You know? I almost wonder if anything different will happen here.
A good, 15 minutes later.
Silly question out of character, since you interjected Cookie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you speak Dwarvish?
No.
That's fair.
Oh, sorry guys, that was rude of me. I just gave him the common dwarven greeting, and he replied in similar fashion.
So, is he giving...
He's going. He took the contract and he's going back to. Well, he'll tell us what to do in a few minutes.
So yeah, after Yonovan says that 15 minutes later, you see him finally coming back. And he comes to the door. He's like, nods to Yonovan and still talking Dwarvish to Yonovan because he assumes, well, you're traveling with dwarves, maybe you learned. Yeah, go ahead and when you bring it through the checkpoint, be sure to show this document to the guards and bring it here immediately, please.
Will do. Thank you for your time. I bow and turn and take my companions away.
So what Cookie and Cleox see is Yonaman dialogue with this individual, give a bow, and then turn and walk off.
Come on, guys, we're gonna go get it and bring it back.
Okay. That
So
sounds
what is
kinda
the
easy.
So did he give you a document? What does it say?
The document.
It's the
what
same
is
one
the
that you gave him.
Ah,
Okay.
that's fair.
He says we're just supposed to show this to the guards when they scan the package, then we bring it directly to the house.
That's fair.
Okay. So you guys make it back to the ship. You're able to pick up the package. Are you guys going to carry it between yourselves? Are you going to ask Saradin for help, or what do you plan?
We're very much asking Sarah.
Definitely Saradin for help.
Okay. So he's going to give you guys a hand. Hefts
So-
it up. I mean, Saradin is groaning under the weight of this thing, even though he's massive. It's still giving him a good workout.
I would, I guess, attempt to assist him,
Oh
but
yes.
I can figure.
Saradin holding one side, two people holding
Hey,
the other.
you still have that wagon?
The
I did
wagon
not
probably
specify.
wouldn't have been difficult to fit on the ship.
Yeah.
That's fair.
He could have tried salvaging something from the wagon,
Yeah, I didn't specify.
or you could try to find a wagon or cart here to use.
How far was the distance between the port and the
It
house?
was mile and a half. So I mean, it's a good trek.
Oh.
Let's find a cart.
Hmm.
On our way back to the ship, do we spot any? Are we passing through a marketplace of any sort?
You don't pass through a marketplace. You see, there's a marketplace off, down a ways, because you're up on more of a hill where you were at with the home of Tharkad, and you see down below there is a market area, but no, that's not the route that you go through.
Well, hey, I know he's struggling by himself, but surely the three of us could couch carry it, right? He could be holding one end and carrying a heavier load of it.
Right, and we should rotate one or two people off to guard.
I think that's going to be a lot easier than trying to get a cart.
Okay, we'll just heft it, and we'll rotate people on and off of it to keep guard.
So silly question. Since we've been in enough port cities and such, how do heavy loads normally get offloaded off of ships?
On carts?
Then
Let's go find a cart.
Okay, smart guy. Talking.
Typically,
Because it would be
like the
it would be
port
odd.
office.
It would be odd and such to do differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before
You guys
we
have seen
remove it from the ship, I'd like to retcon and say that we go get a cart. Or attempt to rent a cart.
Okay, so on your way back through the port office, you do see off to the side there is a spot where you can employ a cart, or purchase a cart, or rent a cart. There is beasts of burden, or there is pulled carts, depending on what you want to do. What?
I would ask
Cart?
Sheridan what he thinks, but he's not.
Yeah. Well, you can certainly pull and handle a whole lot more when it's on wheels.
I would say let's just go ahead and grab a cart instead of trying to worry about animal handling stuff.
Okay. So you're able to get a good. There's a number of different carts. What sort of cart are you looking for? They have ones of wood. They have metal ones. They have a number of different options.
I don't. know if it really. I don't think Cleoc knows enough to really care which. So
Okay.
he would
It's more
he would
the level-
look for. He would defer to Yonovan for for
Okay.
stuff like this.
Yonovan? Yonovan would understand that their different carts are for different weighted items necessarily, because if you get something too heavy on something that can't handle it, it can, cause
Yep,
problems.
and I know how heavy the forge was. Is the forge heavier or lighter than what we're trying to transport there? And then
The whole forge was heavier than the one item, but
Okay.
that's because there's multiple parts and components to it. The item in question is very heavy though, so you know that you want something probably of decent sturdy. So with Jonovan's knowledge in these things, which I believe the player would also probably know, what sort of material cart would you want to look for?
I mean, I know it doesn't have to be as heavy as the one for the forge, but somewhere similar in structure and stability. It's
Okay.
only going to be used for a mile.
There's a lot of two-wheeled carts that are basically for like human pulling loads, but there's also large four-wheeled ones that would be more like beast of burden carried. The one that you got actually had a small bed and stuff in it that he used for his basically like traveling.
So long as the two-wheeled one is sturdy enough, we can rotate pulling it ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. So you eventually find a suitable one. It's going to be 5 silver for it.
Done.
Okay.
So you guys pay the 5 silver and you bring it back to the ship, and Sheridan helps you load it on. You make your way back to the home, to which the guard that you had seen before is still there. As you go through the port, the person, flags you down to get checked. You hand him the paper, and he's like, okay, head on through. And no qualms, you guys get to go through, which is odd from everyone else you're seeing.
Mm-hmm. I strongly suspected Whispers that would have made a difference. I don't know what we're carrying, but I'm not sure I want to know.
I'm in the same boat.
So,
All right.
Kleok is unsure whether we are transporting what we're transporting, but he seems to think that this dwarf, based on, from what he's seen and heard, hold considerable influence. And he would like to not fall on the wrong side of that influence after seeing, what other powerful nobles had done in previous adventures.
all right, so you get there. He opens the gate for you. He's like, come on this way. You guys bring the cart up to the door. He's like, you can leave your cart here. I hope you guys are able to carry that, and I'll show you where to bring it.
All right. We'll sort of manage it.
Probably have Sheridan do it.
Mm-hmm.
So you are able to get through the doors. The doors to this place are actually like 20 foot across, 20 foot high. I mean, these are massive doors.
Oh, wow.
Seems odd for dwarf architecture to have such massive doors, unless they were showing off. Yes, this guy's showing off.
Unless this was like a defensive citadel.
You enter in and you see a very large statue of a dwarf looking down on you as you enter into this entry area. There's a number of seats and things around, and other than the seats and a few fountains, this massive dwarf statue is what is in the entryway. The gentleman leading you, the dwarf guard, shows you around the statue behind it and leads you up a path inside to another large doored room. These doors aren't as big as the ones out front, but they are still more large than they need to be. They're a good 10 by 10 foot double doors, just huge, very intricately designed doors. He opens them and you see a large, kind of like throne room, at which in the large, comfortable, very highly ornate seat at the end of the room, you see a very elderly dwarf. He's like, bring it, set it before him, and open it.
Okay. Well,
On
was that
three.
a command? Yeah, we bring it.
Let's heft it off, bring it to him.
The guard stays at the door. As you walk in, you see lining the walls are much more ornately and highly equipped guards. There's probably at least 20 of them in this room, just lining your path, basically, up to this gentleman.
Is this guy a king? I don't know.
If I was DMing this,
check-
I would ask if you said that out loud.
I did say that out loud.
Oh.
And actually,
Yes.
You would probably go ahead and kick Cookie or shoot him a glance to be quiet and respectful. You know that this is probably not the king since he wasn't introduced as such, but probably the head of one of the clans. The clans are basically like noble families or groups of families.
I quietly clear my throat as I nudged Cookie with my shoulder and give him that eye.
Thank guy. Good thing we left Rio back at the ship.
That is good.
wow.
I take it you guys follow the directions you're given?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
we do.
That was not a request, that was an order, so yes.
I figured Yonovan would since he understands the protocol, but the other two I have to ask.
That's why I said on three, lifting it off the cart.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, you left the cart back at the entranceway like it wasn't
Oh,
allowed inside the premises, so Saraden's been carrying
Right.
it inside. So,
And we would remove the seal and open it.
yeah, you're supposed to set it before
All right.
Set it before him and open it.
There's an obvious
We will let Yonovan
pedestal
do the.
or location to set things before him. You open it, and
Yes, I
you
do.
hear a very loud booming voice that is also seems very aged. Thank you. Please bring me the contract that I may sign it to fulfill it for you.
I present the contract to him.
He waves his hand and a quill flies out and signs. The box then burns away. And you see
Wow.
what's left is a very large forge, anvil to be specific,
Oh,
with very many encrusted runes and sigils.
Wow.
A younger dwarf, by about half this guy's age, comes in and presents you with a box. This was not part of the contract, but we will award you additional fees. Please ensure this is returned. Arius needs these information.
of
Certainly.
course.
He nods. The documents are in a leather-bound, like sealed pouch with a seal marked on it. And he's like, we thank you for your time. Is there anything else you require? If not, you may be escorted out. We have nourishment here for your services as well, if you require.
Oh.
We are finished, and yes, please, thank you.
Cleoc would courteously bow.
Yep.
So as you exit, you're shown to a room that there is a table of food, and you see there's quite a few guards and other individuals there eating, and you're just like,
The guard break room.
enjoy.
Mm.
Awesome.
Cookie's gonna hold his mouth until after we leave.
It's a small feast hall, Yonovan. You're
I was-
familiar with them. They're tend to be used pretty close to day round because different shifts.
I was not going to skip the invitation. That'd be rude.
At this point, Cleok is following Jonathan's lead and saying,
If I understand things correct, we have been presented with 2 objects.
No, one.
One
The
box.
anvil you left behind.
Right.
The leather-bound documents, you're told they're documents, are sealed and you're requested to return them to Artis back at port where you came from.
Ah, excellent.
that's fair.
They said it's not part of the contract, but they need it done, so they figured since you did this part, they would give you the awarded additional contract
Sure.
with the additional fees.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you're heartbroken.
Yeah, that's actually quite nice.
There was also no way I was going to refuse refuse someone that powerful.
You don't want to
unless it
refuse the
was-
clan lord?
No.
Dwarves never
Well,
hold
we're-
grudges.
This is exactly why Cleok is following Jonathan's lead. So if Jonathan goes to the mess hall and accepts the food, Cleok is going to.
Cleok and Cookie, the food here isn't what you're used to by any means, but it is very
Yeah.
well done. Yonovan, you think your
Home
grandmother might be in the kitchen.
Home cooking. Mm.
I can
You think
imagine
you may
that.
have died finally.
I imagine that Cookie is taking notes and such, or at least going over it and trying to figure out and seeing Jonathan's satisfaction. It's like,
I'm gonna see if I observe Yonovan enjoying this. I don't really notice him enjoying it that much.
What did you roll?
A 7. And
I'm just sitting in my chair, rocking back and forth as I'm.
the thing about it is that I don't know whether Jonathan would be vocal in saying that man, this is the best meal I've had in years, or
I'm not, but there's a glow about me as I'm rocking back and forth in my chair.
Hmm.
You've not seen me much happier.
I've not had dwarven cuisine before.
It was simply the best.
But this ale, oh, this is strong.
Oh, this is the watered down stuff for when people are on duty.
Cookie, you and Cleok both will need to make a con save if you're enjoying yourselves with their drink. It's made for those with the constitution to handle it.
But this is the watered down stuff for when people are on duty.
I'm trying to figure
Yes.
out. I'm trying to decide what a Cleok would. I think Cleok would be
I roll a 10.
wanting to enjoy, wanting to do the tradition enough. He would at least try it. So very well. No.
Donovan, you notice Cookie takes one ale, and he's already feeling tipsy. Cleok takes it,
I rolled a now one.
and he's really feeling the
Good.
pleasure. Cleok, you feel like
Uh,
you've had a really good night of drinking, where Cookie
Behave
is
yourselves.
slightly buzzed. Jonathan's like, yeah, I got this. It's homebrew.
Oh boy. Can I have a D10, please?
Oh boy.
Did you cast a spell?
That's 12.
Uh-huh.
Why did you cast a spell?
You're drunk. And I'm too drunk to know that it's a bad idea.
Oh my god! Please tell me,
A 5.
Jonathan, you realize enough that the Cookie would be casting a spell and stop him?
He probably would notice.
Let me roll to see. Because I might be too enjoying this
That's
food to
true.
notice.
I'd like to think Saradin would stop him, but
Nope, I am lost in this food.
I would like to
Saradin's
re-roll my
not a-
character now.
Saradin's not a spellcaster. So he would kind of like see Cookie saying something in a foreign language he's never heard before. Be like, Cookie, what are you doing?
Just a second. Look up table. 7. Oh. Well, look at that.
I'm face palming in real
Well,
life.
nothing unusual happens, but you are cured of the immediate effects of alcoholism. So any sort of hangovers or drunken conditions.
Cookie.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, as you start doing that, you see Nuresil is slide in next to Cleoc and reach out a hand that's like glowing, and you just touch him, and you see like a bit of like light pass from his hand into Cleoc. Cleoc is no longer affected by it because that's what restoration does.
Huh. I was gonna do that.
Oh,
my speech is
I didn't
slurred.
even notice you were with us.
I guess I'll do it to myself. Bam. Cookie cast it on himself anyway.
Okay.
I feel much better.
Same result.
I had no
Nothing
reason to speak.
unusual.
No need to speak when it is needed.
Most of the time I don't drink any of this, but it's even I'm smart enough or have seen enough to think that this is not a place to buck tradition or dwarven tradition.
Kriak? Or
Probably not.
Yanovan?
Yep.
Hey, Yanovan.
Yep.
I shouldn't drink this stuff.
Huh.
I just cast a spell to cure myself of it.
I
That
thought
was
you were
probably
using
a
the same
bad
roll.
idea.
I thought you were using the same roll on yourself instead of.
I did. It was the same roll, but it worked out. I just rolled my perception of was that a bad idea, and I rolled really well. So, drunk me didn't know that.
Starting to
Better get
remind
out
me
of
of
here
John
before I
Henry.
do something stupid. Okay.
He can't hold the liquor.
I realized that on my character sheet that Cleoc weighs what did I put on here? He weighs 90 pounds.
Yeah. And so, after you partake of a meal, you're able to head out.
Excellent. We'll go back to the ship.
Okay.
So hey guys, this is a pretty busy place. We could try to find some work here, or we could search for some work on that layover spot, or we can just go all the way back to port. What do y'all think?
Well, we already have a job. Go back to port. So if we
You know what?
if we look
That's
for jobs,
fair.
if we look for jobs here, it would be definitely something that we would want to only partake of very close to that sector, and probably not one with any sort of high association with danger, because we have a job to deliver documents, and if the ship gets blown apart, that happens even if we live.
Okay. You know what? That's okay. That's a good point.
Now, what I could see happening is maybe spending an extra day or two in port to, since we have been flying for a while, to beyond the normal
Just a
restocking,
month.
but
Yeah.
to relax and Yonovan to go around the city, and if we're staying here for any sort of time, whether it's just a day or so, Cleoc would be interested in looking at the dwarven weaponry. Not necessarily looking to buy anything, but more out of a Kensai curiosity. See how a dwarven longsword is different from the ones, or dwarven swords, bows, such be different in the ones he's already carrying.
Okay. You just looking for, like, mundane, magical? What? Or just
He's
seeing what
looking
weapons they
more
have?
for a. This is more flavor than anything. Comparing the styles of weapons more than looking
Okay.
for like a spectacular replacement.
No, I just want to make sure I understood. So yeah, you find a weapon shop here. Obviously, there's quite a few. And the weapons are much more precise and blunt than most of the others you've seen.
Precise and blunt. So it's like a right,
They're
right,
not
okay.
very elegant. They're more built for function.
What do you mean elegant?
Elven, most people see that as
Oh.
elegant. They're much more built for the task. Now,
That's fair.
they may have decorations on them, but their actual design is very functional, not beautified.
That's fair.
I mean, they seem to be more finely crafted than the human ones you've seen, but not as prettyful as the elven ones. Not as elegantly designed.
That's fair.
You know, that sort of thing. Opposed to that.
It seems reasonable.
Yeah.
I wonder where you found those. They like gold, that's for sure.
Oh, they're not necessarily gold. That was just that one.
Mm-hmm.
There's other colors too.
What's wrong with gold?
Nothing's wrong with gold. I like gold.
And then, of course, you know, there's the more basic version, which is the human versions.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Cleoc doesn't want to hold up, the return trip. Just trying to make a little bit of flavor.
Oh, indeed. Indeed. It's good for you to investigate those. I mean, that's very suited for someone who is a class of your sort. It would be worthwhile to investigate
a
weapons.
weapon master, basically, yeah.
Yeah. Knowing about weapons, where they are, what they are, you know, who they're made by, how they're made, isn't bad. So, anything else you gentlemen would like to do while you're here in port, enjoying the Dwarven Ale and getting totally wasted, apparently?
I might want to get some dwarven alloys I'm more familiar with.
Okay. You can mark down however much you want to purchase of that you have money for. And we'll just call it, you know, Dwarven Metals for now, if you want, and then we can always check if you need something specific.
Okay. I'm gonna look up how much they cost. I've got like 800 plus gold, so I'll be fine.
Yeah, that's why I said just mark how much you want, and we'll go from there. Basically, how much you spent.
This place has a bank, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna go and deposit some money with the bank.
Okay.
This is out of character, but if I remember right, the when the contract was described to us, that once that he had signed the contract, that actually the payment would be added to the bank for us. So you may want to
Indeed.
confirm your account while you're there, or at the very least, do not be surprised if there's more there than you expected.
Okay. Anyway, Cookie's just going to enjoy the sights and learning some more about dwarves, I think. They are a good folk. After some rest, though, he's ready to get going when the rest of the team is.
So you find out when you go to the bank, Cookie, that there's an account set up under the name of the party. You can either come up with a party name if you want, or it's basically account of it lists all the party members.
Yeah.
In that, you find out that there has been deposited 400 platinum.
Okay. That's pretty good. I'll keep that information and tell my friends.
Okay. Yonovan, Cookie, Kliok, is there anything else you gentlemen care to do?
I'm ready to get going. After we resupply, of course.
I'm ready for the return.
Okay. So, we will pick up next week that you returned and made it back. Successful mission. And the funny thing is, I rolled for encounters and you didn't get them outside of the area, so you guys made a safe trip. Other than, the dwarven
really good.
interaction. Which the dwarves weren't going to harass you,
Right.
combat-wise, since they're just patrolling their place unless you chose to instigate.
Why would we want to do that?
Well, certain party members have done it from time to time. But hey, what are you guys doing? You actually focused and completed a mission in a night.
Well, I'm just here reading about dwarven alloys.
You're supposed to, take
That
like
aren't
4
incredibly
sessions to
expensive.
complete. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you rolled badly on your random encounters. Or, well depends on...
That was only part of it. You also didn't decide to stand around bumbling trying to decide what to do. You're like, okay, where's this? Yes, there's there. What about this? Yes. Instead of, debating 12 different paths, you kind of decided one, and went.
Call it lessons learned. Or at the very least, a renewed focus.
And so,
Oh, also it kind of goes hand in hand with um, the complexity of such things actually increases the more party members add.
Yes.
So with
That
all
can
so
be
with
true.
so with all 5 of us here last week, it's multiple decision points and
Mm-hmm.
And more
We should-
inputs, yeah.
That's the reason I like to keep it kind of between 4 and 6. But I mean, you get much below 4, it starts becoming tricky. You get too many above 6, it can get a bit chaotic.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's why they recommend 4 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
So when you guys get back to port, we'll just wrap up this last leg. How do you get the package to Aris?
At this point, our contact for this job was the half, right?
The halfling was the one who posted the bill and was kind of the contract individual.
I
The one
see.
who posts it and ensures things are done. Deal broker or contract dealer, however you want to call it.
Imagine we
Okay.
go to him then.
At this point, I would probably ask him first, since he would likely know, and if not, probably point us towards the right direction.
Yeah, I would go talk to the halfling first, and if he wants a small fee, I'll pay it. That's fine.
So you show up, he's like, yeah, it's a 25 gold fee, and I'm able to ensure that it gets delivered to him.
Not that we don't trust you, but given the client that we
He pulls
have,
out a contract. Magical contract ensures it arrives. You'll be notified if it doesn't within the time specified.
He did ask for us to deliver it, though.
Would you simply tell us how to reach him?
He's currently out. He should be coming back within the week, he said. So I figured if you wanted, I could ensure it gets to him for you, or you can wait and hope he's able to come in.
I think due to our client, we'll wait a week, but we'll be happy to take you up on your order if we can't figure it out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Certainly.
I'm gonna give him a 5 silver tip, just because.
Much appreciated. The kids will enjoy a little extra treat tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't mean to deprive you. We just want to make sure the customer is happy.
Indeed, I understand.
So we'll pick up there next week then.
Yep. Fun, fun, fun. We'll see you guys next week.